Hi everyone, I'm Allison, and today we are going to draw self-portraits. Now, before cameras were invented, the only way to record what somebody looked like was to draw or paint them, and that is called a portrait. Now that we have cameras, of course, we don't necessarily need to do portraits, but the only way to learn how to draw faces is to practice drawing faces. And conveniently, every artist has a face to practice on all the time, as long as they have a mirror available. Now, some artists really enjoy doing self-portraits and they do them a lot. Some only do one or two. Some of them are very serious, and then some of them, like Judith Leyster and Norman Rockwell down at the bottom, you can see they're very fun and playful. So your self-portrait can be however you want it to be, but to keep things simple today, we are going to focus on doing a forward, not too out there style portrait, simply because that way it is easier to learn how to draw the face. Now, I am not there with you to help you learn the shape of your own face, to point out things in the mirror and show the relationship between the features on your face. But what I can talk about are the proportions of the face. Now, proportions are kind of an average of where the features fall on people's faces. Obviously, they are not the same on everyone's face, or everyone's face would look pretty much the same. So, Captain Barbosa says, proportions are more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. So everything I'm about to talk about is meant to not lock you into a way to draw, but to give you something to measure off of while you're drawing your face. So I've got two different versions here, and I'm going to show you the quick and dirty version. And then we are going to talk about actually measuring so that you can do a more realistic portrait. Now, because I'm talking and moving my face around while I'm drawing, and you wouldn't be able to see if I had a mirror right here, I actually went ahead and took a selfie on my phone. Now, if you don't have a mirror available, feel free to use your phone to take a selfie or a tablet or something. But if you do have a mirror available, that is much better, because sometimes the camera flattens out your face and you don't see what's really going on. So if you have a mirror, use a mirror. If you don't, go ahead and use your device, that's fine. But we're gonna be working off this picture so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, you're gonna need some paper and a pencil and an eraser, and that's it. I am going to be using two different colors of pencil just so you can see what my measuring lines are versus what my final lines would be, just to give you an idea of what's going on. So we're going to scooch this over. Hopefully you can see me behind Barbosa there. Now, to get started, you usually want to draw a line straight down the middle. And this does not have to be exactly the size you want your head to be. You are just getting a line in. This is going to be basically the middle of your face. This is your bilateral symmetry line, if you want to use really fun words. And then you're going to draw a line across the center somewhere. This is going to be your eye line. This is where your eyes are going to go. Then, so this is the quick version, by the way. I've drawn a lot of heads, so I tend to default to this, and I thought I would share it. So you're going to draw a circle. Try to keep it pretty even, both this way and this way. That'll help you get everything in the right place. And this is just kind of an approximate one. I use this one when I am planning where something is going to be before I really get into the face, or if I am drawing like a comic. All right, so we've got our circle. I'm like going everything over everything extra sketchy because I want you to be able to see it on the camera, and I'm got to keep checking to make sure it's showing up. Okay, so this is part of your head. Now, about if you look at this distance, you want to take about half of that and make a mark down here. That's that same distance away. This is where, about where your chin's gonna be. Oh, that's behind Barbosa's sassiness right there. There we go. And then you're gonna wanna do the same thing. So about halfway, like there. So a mark right there. So I know this looks super weird, but this is actually going to be the top of your head. And then you're gonna wanna come in a little bit because the back of your head actually sticks out a little bit past your face. So you want to come in a little bit. And then this will be the chin. And this part you can draw really lightly. These are your structure lines. The lighter you draw them, the easier they'll be to erase later. All right, so now if we look at the distance between here and here, about halfway down, we're going to put our nose, and about halfway between the two of those, we're going to put our mouth. It usually lines up with the circle, but not always. And then here is where an ear is going to go. And your ears, the bottom of your ears usually line up with the bottom of your nose. Ta-da. And then your eyes. So this is the quick version of drawing a face. So your eye would go here. And I would go here. This is my quick cartoony version. I will go here, get a nose, get a mouth, and my eyebrows are pretty far up my forehead. Doot, doot, doot. And I'm gonna put my glasses in. Now, some fun things. Your head is usually one of the reasons I did this is your head is 2/3 as wide as it is tall. So because I made this circle and then added a half up here and a half down here, I got another chunk out of it, and it made, 2/3 and 1/3. But this is not exact proportions, and I'm sure you'll see why. But you can get a face out of this. And for some people, this is all you need to start your drawing. In my case, I've got some glasses that gotta go in here. And I've got some hair. And my hair is very fluffy, so I will, and it almost covers up my ears, so you don't even always see my ears. Especially when it's getting longer, like my hair is right now. So I've got some hair right here. And your hair is always going to be bigger than your head, even if your hair is not that floofy. This arc line that I drew before, that kind of gives you an idea of where your hairline might be. If you've got your hair pulled back in a ponytail, or if your hair is very short. But again, you're gonna wanna look in the mirror and see where those things are. So this can give you an idea of how to get started. But we are gonna do the accurate measurement version now. So, gonna get another piece of paper, and we're gonna start the same way. You're gonna do your center line. And just get a line. And again, don't go too dark or it'll be harder to erase later. And then we're gonna do our eye line. Now, this is where things get really fun. I already told you that most heads, not all heads, are about 2/3 as wide as they are tall. But what's really funny is a lot of people have the space between their eyes is the same width as their eye, and then their head is 5 eyes wide. Now, my head does not look like that when I have my glasses on because my glasses are so strong that they shrink my eyes and make them really tiny. But if we get a picture of me without my glasses on, we can actually see, I'm gonna turn this sideways. Funny enough, this came out, now you can pick any measurement you wanna use. You can, a lot of people like to hold their pencil up to the mirror and see about what size their eye is. You can use a finger. I happened to notice when I was working on this lesson that the space between my eyes and the size of my eye and the space between my eyes in this photo is actually the width of this knuckle on my thumb. So I'm going to be using my thumb as my measuring stick for the rest of this lesson. Now, we'll get that dead-eyed stare out of the way now that I've showed you that. I am so nearsighted that I cannot see the camera if I take my glasses off. So I tend to look a little vacant when I have to take a picture with my glasses off. So if the space between my eyes and for each eye is 1 thumb, I'm going to measure, and my head is going to be 5 thumb widths wide because that'll be 5 eyes. It sounds weird to say it's 5 eyes wide, but it works. Now, because the eyes are halfway down, if you're 5 eyes wide, then we should be able to double that, to multiply that by 2 to get how tall the head needs to be. So that'll be 7.5 eyes. So I'm going to do 7 eyes. Most of that half ends up at the top with my floofy hair because I have a very rounded face. Now, obviously, once you've marked this out, you can do 5 of whatever you want to do, the width of your thumb or a piece, whatever you want to do, a chunk of the top of your pencil, whatever you want to use as your 5 markers. But I want you to check in the mirror. I want you to check what the space is between your eyes. Some people it's wider, some people it's narrower, and I want you to move these marks. Those are going to be the corners of your eyes. So you got to make sure they're in the right place or you're not going to look right. So I want you to move those where they need to be. And I want you to check how wide your eyes are in relation to that space. Make sure that these marks are in the right place. And then I want you to check where, in relation to your eyes, the outside of your face is. Because some people, their eyes are closer in and their faces are a little wider. Some people, their faces are very narrow. So just to make sure that you've got all those marks where they need to be and make your life a little easier. So then we're going to take our marker. So like I said a second ago, if we double it, we get 7.5 is twice of, no, sorry, it's not doubling. We need 3 times 2.5. That's what I'm trying to say. So 2.5 eyes is 1/3 of what we're doing. So we need those. So what we're going to do is 7.5. And I'm going to start in the middle because I know I'm going to end up with a little bit down here and a little bit up there. So I'm just going to go to 7. My face is a little more round. Now, some people might have shorter on the top. And I want you to look in the mirror, and you can totally take your pencil, hold it out, and see if, like how wide your face is. See if I can do this in front of the camera. Like be like, okay, so this is how tall my face is. How wide is my face? And compare the two. That will help you. But if you have already figured that part out and you have some measurements you can use, look at them, you can do this part. That's just this is just really hard to show on camera with the pencil part, so I thought this would be a good technique to show. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections here. I know there's going to be a little bit up here and a little bit down here in a minute, but for now, this is going to be my shape. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to find 2.5 up and 2.5 down. Remember that circle we did on my fast and dirty version? We're going to do that circle again. This circle will help us get the basic shape of the face and find some things. All right, so I've got that shape, and now if I look at my face, about the edge of my face is actually only half an eye away from my eyes, at least when I'm not wearing my glasses. Since I look weird when I draw myself this way, I'm going to draw myself as if my eyes are not being shrunk, and then I'll just add my glasses in. So I'm going to make a mark right here for the edge of my face. So that's like half an eye in. Now, another line you want to draw, if it helps you to remember that these are the places where your eyes are going to go ahead and put a little arc in there. Not real dark though, because your eyes may be tilted this way or this way. They may not be level on there. My eyes go very slightly this way. And actually, when you're looking at your face, most people are not exactly symmetrical on both sides of their face. I have a family member who this entire side of their face is slightly higher than this side. My ears are actually not even, which I found out when I was 5, and the lady who was piercing my ears was like, I'm gonna pierce this one a little lower so your earrings hang even. So that was pretty fun. So look at your face. There's no wrong way to have a face. Just look at how things line up on your face so that you can put things in the right spot to get a good likeness of yourself. So this will be an area, I'm just gonna mark where my eyes are gonna be so I know what's going on. Now, on my face, the bottom of my nose is actually right here. So I'm gonna make a little mark there. And my mouth is, well, the bottom of my lip is right here. If I do one thumb up from my chin, yeah, I can see I get the bottom of my lip. So this will be the bottom of my lip, which means my mouth is going to be right about here. And my top lip will be here. So very important measurement to put in though. I want you to go halfway in your eye. And I want you to do a little line straight down. This is roughly where your pupil is going to be, which also tells you where the corners of your mouth is going to be. Now, again, I want you to look at your face. Is your mouth wider than where your pupils are? Is your mouth narrower? Some people's are. Steven Tyler, Mick Jagger, the corners of their mouth are way outside their pupils. So everybody's face is a little different. But if you make this mark and then you look in the mirror to see where yours are, you can decide where to put the line. So mine lines up pretty well, so that part's not too hard. And then I want you to draw another short line down from where the corner of your eye is going to be. Now this, ooh, I got a little crooked, didn't I? Let me move my center line over a little bit. Got my thumb marks over a little far. Got crooked. That's okay though. Okay, so down from the corners of your eyes is generally going to line up with the edges of your nose. Mine is slightly larger, and yours might be even bigger. Yours might be really narrow. Some people's just are. For instance, my husband, his nose is up a little higher. He has a much shorter nose than I do. But we're going to put this mark in so we have something to measure with. And then let's make sure to put in the top of our head. And just for kicks, I'm going to make a little shape so that we know where our chin is going. And last but not least, come out from where your nose is. Make a little mark on each side, because this is right about where your ears are gonna go. Now, some people's ears sit really close to their head. Some people's ears stick out really far. Some people's ears, where the ear connects to your head, sometimes it's at the corner of your eye. Some people it's higher, some people it's lower. Some people's ears are much bigger. For instance, they'd be like this. Some people's ears are very small. See how big your ear is in comparison to your nose and where it attaches to your head. Does it attach right next to your eye? Is it up a little higher? Is it down a little lower? Well, maybe not down here, down a little lower. Everybody's face is a little different. So we've got these marks and I've got these roughed in. And I can kind of breeze through this part because I've drawn my own face a lot of times. Okay, so we've got this all roughed in. So I'm going to switch to my other pencil so we can, and remember, these are guidelines so that we can continue on. So at this point, I can look at the shapes of my face and I want you to really look. For instance, your tear duct on your eye kind of comes around and then my eye scoops up. And the eyelids on both of my eyes, one is different than the other, so they're both different. Now, this is where my pupil technically should go, but remember your iris is not all going to show. The circle is cut off by your top lid and your bottom lid, unless you're like this. Ah! Now, if you want to make that expression, you totally can. Let's see how that's coming in, and that looks pretty good. So you can see, now I've got an eye in there. This is about where my nose is gonna go. Again, I've drawn my face a lot of times. I know it my face fairly well at this point. Now, I usually smile with my mouth open, but that really distorts the face. You can see it puts the corners of my mouth like way out here at the corners of my eyes, especially with my glasses on. So that is a little harder to draw. So try to have a little bit of a serious expression, neutral face. And your ears may not show at all, like mine barely show. But so try to keep it neutral so you can just look at your face. And look at the shape of your lips. Some people's mouth is further down. Some people's chins are much longer, like they would want to go further down here. I actually have a very short face. I have more up here than I do down here. But you can see how this goes. Got some lips in here. Another thing to look at is some people's eyebrows start right here at this line, and they have eyebrows that are very close to their eyelids, and some people's are much higher. Mine tend to be, not tend to be, but mine are like right here. I have ones that are very high. I have very high eyebrows, and eyebrows usually start along this same line and they go up and over, and they usually stop about here between these two lines. Not everybody though. Some people's eyebrows start way over here. Some people's eyebrows end way over here. It really just depends on how your face works. So there are a lot of different examples online of how to draw different parts of your face. And there's a lot more information about how to draw heads. So I'm going to go through the rest of this real quick, but there are a lot more resources online if you would prefer to learn some more about how detailed you can make your face and what to look for. This is just the real basic version. So I get my other eye in. I actually have a double eyelid on that eye. Only got a little crease right there on this eye. Like I said, I have unusual eyes. But everybody's face is different, and that's fun. Otherwise, the world would be very boring. Okay. My nose is actually also a little crooked, and that's fun too. It's got a little ball at the end. My glasses kind of go in right here. And the little bits, I discovered that these little dots on my glasses are right at my top of my eyelids. So that helps me put things where they're supposed to be very easily. Just helps me line everything up within reason. My face is actually also a little uneven. My glasses kind of go like this. And here's the lenses. My cheeks kind of go in a little bit right there and then come down. Mostly though, I have like little round cheeks. So you can see that is already starting to look a lot like me. Now, I got a little low on this side, or is it that I'm a little high on this side? Let's figure it out. If you take your paper and you flip it over and you hold it up to a lamp, you can see where you went wrong. I'm kind of wrong on both sides, so we're gonna try and fix that. That's because your brain is actually compensating. It knows what you meant to do. It's kind of like when you write a word and you don't spell it right because you knew what you meant to do. So you can see that's already starting to look like me. So we'll just put some hair in to make it fun. You really only ever see this eyebrow on my face. We're going to now, to put hair in, like I said, this is probably where some hairline's going to be. But some people's hairlines do this. They make cool patterns on their head. Some people's hairlines go up. Everybody's hairline's a little bit different. You can't see mine very well. So, I have it easy. The only part you're going to see is right here where this little chunk comes through. Otherwise, my hair comes and just kind of flips across my forehead. And then I have floof for days. And it kind of comes out like this. Ta-da! That kind of looks like me, right? I still got this cheek a little funny. Now, right under your lip, there is a little bend usually, so you can put a little line there for you to help figure out where things are. And your neck is bigger than you think it is, just so you know. So, I always tell myself, it's bigger than I think it is. And then I make it a little too wide. That's okay though. So ta-da! That's that's kind of like, looks like me, right? I think that's pretty good. So after this, you could do ink on it, you could do watercolor on it, you could paint it, you could cut it out and put it on a floral background to make it look like a Kehinde Wiley painting. You could do black all around it and color this a color to look like Andy Warhol's self-portrait. You could add your pets or some pets that you wish you had to make it look like a Frida Kahlo self-portrait. There are a lot of different things you can do. So go look at some different artists and see if there are some things you'd like to try, or if you just want to express things about yourself, draw your favorite sports stuff, or your favorite TV show, or things you love to do, your favorite book. Maybe you want to draw yourself as your favorite book character. You can do any of those things. So I hope this has been helpful. Remember, Barbosa says proportions are guidelines, not actual rules. Join us again next week for a new Arty Party with a new project. I hope you've enjoyed. Have fun and stay safe.